Welcome to this transformative journey. Before we begin, I want to invite you to pause, breathe deeply, and allow yourself to feel this moment. Spiritual awakening begins with something so simple: being present. But what exactly does it mean to awaken spiritually? We often live on autopilot, stuck in routines and worries that take us away from who we really are. Spiritual awakening is a process of reconnection with our essence, a call to look beyond appearances and find what is true and lasting within us. This awakening is not something reserved for spiritual masters or people who isolate themselves in distant mountains. It is within everyone's reach because it is a journey that happens internally. No matter where you are or what challenges you are facing, spiritual awakening can begin right now, in this moment. Think of life as an ocean. We are often adrift, driven by waves of circumstances and emotions. Spiritual awakening is like diving into the depths of this ocean. There, in the silence and stillness, we find something greater, something that has always been there, but that we often ignore. Our true essence. And what is this essence? Some call it the soul, others consciousness, energy, or connection with the universe. It doesn't matter what name we give it. The important thing is to recognize that it exists and that it is the source of peace, wisdom, and love that we seek. This path, however, is not always easy. Sometimes it begins with a crisis, a moment of pain, loss, or confusion. These moments, however challenging they may be, can be opportunities for growth. They invite us to look within and seek answers that we cannot find in the outside world. I want you to reflect. Have you ever had a moment when you felt like something was missing, even when everything seemed to be in place? Perhaps it was the beginning of a wake-up call. These moments of restlessness remind us that there is something more, something beyond the material and the ephemeral. Throughout life, we accumulate many layers: beliefs, fears, expectations, patterns of behavior. These layers can take us away from our essence. Spiritual awakening is like peeling back these layers, one by one, until we reconnect with who we truly are. It is a process of detachment, of letting go of what no longer serves us. Another important aspect of awakening is learning to listen. Listen not only to the words of others, but also to yourself, to silence, to nature. Spiritual wisdom often manifests itself in the subtlest details, like the sound of rain, the movement of trees in the wind, or even the rhythm of your own breathing. When starting this journey, it is common to come across doubts and insecurities. Am I on the right path? Am I doing this the right way? The truth is that there is no single path or formula. Spiritual awakening is unique for each person because we are unique. Your journey will be different from anyone else's, and that's what makes it so special. Also, remember that awakening does not mean the absence of challenges or difficulties. In fact, these moments are an essential part of the process. They teach us, strengthen us, and help us grow. Spiritual awakening is not about escaping reality, but about facing it with more courage, clarity, and compassion. I want to share with you a simple practice that can help you begin this journey. The practice of gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful way to change our focus, to see what we have instead of focusing on what we lack. Every day, take a moment to reflect on 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be big or extraordinary. It can be simple. Things like someone's smile, the comfort of your home, or the fact that you are alive and here now hearing these words. As you explore this path, you will also realize that spiritual awakening is a continuous movement, like a dance. There are moments of great clarity and connection, and others when everything seems confusing. This is normal. The important thing is to continue, with patience and kindness towards yourself. At this point, I want you to allow yourself a brief reflection. What does it mean for you to live fully and consciously? What small steps can you take today to connect with your essence? Maybe it's spending a few minutes in silence, watching your breathing, or simply taking in the beauty around you. Spiritual awakening is a gift you can give yourself. It requires nothing more than your willingness to look within and at the world with fresh eyes. This is just the beginning of our journey together. Next, we will explore how to cultivate this connection with our essence amid the challenges of everyday life. Now, take a deep breath again. Feel the presence of this moment and allow it to inspire you. This is the first step towards something wonderful, your true essence. Now that we have begun to understand what spiritual awakening is and the importance of reconnecting with our essence, let's explore how we can cultivate this connection in a practical way in our daily lives. How do we bring this new perspective into our everyday lives, where distractions and challenges seem to constantly take us away from what is deepest and truest? The first step is to accept that the journey of spiritual awakening is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. Spirituality is not limited to isolated moments of meditation or reflection. It permeates everything we do. Every action, no matter how small, can be an opportunity to connect with our essence. One of the biggest obstacles on the spiritual path is the rush of everyday life. Responsibilities, obligations, and external pressures can easily take us off-center, disconnecting us from our inner peace. Therefore, it is essential to reserve moments of pause. No matter how busy you are, there is always time for a brief pause, a moment of silence, to breathe deeply and simply be present. The practice of meditation is a powerful tool in this process. Many believe that meditating requires hours of practice, but the truth is that meditation can be integrated simply and effectively into our daily lives. You can start with just a few minutes a day. Close your eyes, focus on your breathing, and allow your thoughts to calm. Meditation is not about eliminating thoughts, but about observing and accepting what arises without identifying with them. Furthermore, mindfulness is a complementary practice that can transform even the most common tasks into moments of spiritual connection. Eating, walking, washing dishes, driving, all of this can be done consciously. Instead of doing things automatically, as we often do, bring your attention to the present moment. Feel the flavors when you eat. Notice the movement of your body when you walk. Listen to the sounds around you. By doing this, you bring spiritual awakening into your everyday life, allowing every moment to be an opportunity for connection. Gratitude, as I mentioned before, is another essential element for cultivating spirituality in our daily lives. Often, we are so focused on what is missing or what didn't work that we forget to look at everything we already have. Start cultivating the habit of being grateful every day, even for the simplest things. Gratitude helps to change our perspective, to connect us with the abundance that is already present in our lives. By being grateful, you are, in a way, recognizing the presence of the divine, the sacred, in everything that exists. A powerful practice to strengthen this connection with your essence is self-care. Self-care is not selfish. Rather, it is a way of honoring your being and nurturing your energy. We often sacrifice ourselves for the sake of others or our responsibilities, but spiritual awakening invites us to take care of ourselves, respect ourselves, and recognize our own needs. This can be as simple as taking time to rest, doing something you love, or engaging in activities that nourish your body and mind. However, it is not always easy to maintain this connection when we are faced with challenges. The path to spiritual awakening, as we have already mentioned, is not linear. Sometimes difficulties become more intense, and it seems like we are losing our inner peace. It is in these moments that we need more than ever to return to what we learned and practiced. Remember that challenges are part of the process. They help us grow, better understand our essence, and strengthen us. An example of this could be the way we deal with our relationships. It is often in relationships that we encounter the most difficulties and tensions. However, they are also a fertile field for our spiritual growth. Every person we interact with, be it a friend, a partner, a co-worker, or even a stranger, is reflecting something about ourselves. Spiritual awakening invites us to look at these relationships with more empathy, compassion, and patience. When we encounter resistance or conflict, we can ask, what is this relationship teaching me? What can I learn about myself in this process? Don't forget that you are not alone on this journey. Spiritual awakening is a deeply personal, but also universal experience. Many others are traveling the same path, each in their own way, but all connected by the search for truth and self-knowledge. There is a collective wisdom in all of us, and we can learn from each other. One way to nurture this connection with the universe and others is to open yourself to silence. The modern world is constantly bombarding us with stimuli, noise, and information. Sometimes you need to disconnect a little to get back to what's essential. Silence, whether for a few minutes or a few hours, can be a way of reconnecting with our true essence. In silence, we find the space to hear our inner voice, to hear the voice of our heart. I would like to invite you to reflect now. How can you integrate more of these moments of pause and presence into your life? What can you do today, even if it's just for a few minutes, to reconnect with your essence? There is no right or wrong answer, but every step toward this reconnection is valuable. Now, take another deep breath. Feel the presence of the moment and the stillness you can cultivate each day. Spiritual awakening is within your reach, and the next step is already being taken here and now. On the path to spiritual awakening, one of the biggest obstacles we can face are internal challenges. These challenges do not come from external sources, but from within ourselves. These are our limiting beliefs, our fears, our insecurities, and even resistance to the new. Overcoming these internal obstacles is an essential part of the awakening process, because it is through them that we are called to grow and transform. Let's start by talking about limiting beliefs. We all have beliefs that shape the way we see ourselves and the world around us. Some of these beliefs were acquired in childhood, others were shaped by our life experiences. Many of these beliefs, however, limit us, preventing us from reaching our true potential. For example, we may believe that we are not good enough, that we do not deserve to be happy, or that we are not capable of achieving our dreams. These beliefs create barriers within us, making us believe we are less than we really are. Spiritual awakening invites us to question these beliefs, to challenge them. When we start to observe ourselves more consciously, we realize how many of these ideas are not true. They are just stories we tell ourselves based on past experiences or external influences. The first step is to recognize these beliefs, bring to light what we have hidden in our subconscious mind. When we identify these limiting beliefs, we can begin to transform them. One way to do this is through self-affirmation. Self-affirmation is the process of replacing negative thoughts with positive, constructive affirmations. If you believe you are not good enough, start affirming yourself with phrases like, I'm worthy of love and success. If you feel insecure, repeat to yourself, I am capable of overcoming any challenge. Affirmations help to reprogram our mind, replacing limiting beliefs with more powerful beliefs aligned with our true essence. Another big internal challenge is fear. Fear is a natural emotion, but it often stops us from moving forward. We are afraid of failing, of exposing ourselves, of being rejected. These fears can paralyze us, keeping us trapped in a comfort zone that is actually a prison for our soul. Spiritual awakening challenges us to face these fears head-on, and that doesn't mean eliminating them, but learning to live with them without them controlling us. One way to overcome fear is to practice courage, which is the ability to act despite fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the ability to move forward even when fear is present. Every time we face a fear, no matter how small, we are moving forward on our spiritual journey. This teaches us that fear is not an enemy, but an opportunity for growth. Sometimes the biggest obstacle we face in spiritual awakening is resistance to the new. We are so used to our old patterns and habits that we resist any change, even if it is for our good. This resistance is one of the greatest sources of suffering. Spiritual awakening teaches us to practice flexibility and acceptance. By opening ourselves to new possibilities, we create space for the new in our lives, and this includes new ways of thinking, acting, and being. Another way to overcome internal challenges is to practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is an act of liberation, both for ourselves and for others. When we hold grudges or resentment, we are only trapping ourselves in a cycle of negativity. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or accepting behaviors that hurt us, but it means releasing the emotional weight we carry. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves, allowing us to live with greater ease and inner peace. The practice of compassion is also fundamental in facing internal challenges. We are often our own harshest critics. Instead of judging ourselves harshly, spiritual awakening teaches us to be more compassionate towards ourselves. When we treat ourselves with kindness and acceptance, we can deal with our mistakes and failures in a more balanced way, learning from them without punishing ourselves. Self-compassion helps us cultivate healthier relationships with ourselves and others. One of the biggest challenges we encounter is doubt. Doubt can arise at any stage of our spiritual path. We ask ourselves, am I on the right path? Am I doing this the right way? What if I fail? Doubt is normal, but the key is to not allow it to paralyze us. Spiritual awakening invites us to trust our intuition and inner wisdom more. Instead of constantly looking outside for answers, we can start looking inward and trusting the guidance that arises from our own consciousness. Every internal challenge we face is an opportunity for self-discovery. By overcoming them, we grow and get closer to who we really are. Spiritual awakening is not a process of perfection, but of acceptance, love, and continuous learning. Instead of trying to avoid challenges, we can learn to see them as allies in our growth. Now, I would like you to allow yourself to reflect on the internal challenges you have faced in your own life. What are the limiting beliefs, fears, resistance, or doubts that arise? How can you look at these challenges with more compassion and acceptance? What can you do today to start overcoming them, even if it's just a small step? Continue with confidence, knowing that each step toward overcoming these challenges is a step toward your true essence. Now that we've discussed how to overcome the internal challenges that arise along the spiritual path, it's time to talk about one of the most important parts of spiritual awakening: cultivating a daily practice that helps us maintain a connection with our essence. Spirituality, like any practice, requires consistency. It's easy to get lost in the rush of everyday life and forget to take time for ourselves. But the truth is that daily spiritual practice is fundamental to staying centered and aligned with what really matters. It doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. What matters is intention and constancy. One of the simplest and most effective ways to cultivate a spiritual practice is through meditation. We've mentioned meditation before, but now let's dig a little deeper. Meditation is like an exercise for the mind, where we remove ourselves from external distractions to observe our thoughts and emotions. Over time, the practice of meditation helps us develop a mind that is calmer, more focused, and better able to connect with what is deepest within ourselves. To get started, you don't need much time. 5 or 10 minutes may be enough. Find a quiet place where you won't be interrupted and sit comfortably. Close your eyes and start paying attention to your breathing. Feel the air entering and leaving your body. When thoughts arise, simply observe them without judging them. Don't worry about stopping the thoughts. The idea is to realize that we are more than the thoughts that pass through our mind. Over time, you will begin to notice a space of silence between your thoughts, and it is in this space that the connection with your true essence becomes clearer. This silence is where the peace and wisdom we seek so much resides. By meditating daily, you create a solid foundation for spiritual awakening, allowing each moment to become an opportunity for connection. Another important practice is self-questioning. Spiritual awakening is not just about absorbing teachings, but also about questioning, exploring, and discovering what is true for you. Constantly ask yourself, what am I learning about myself right now? What can I let go of to get closer to my essence? This type of questioning helps us maintain an open and curious mind, allowing the process of self-discovery to unfold naturally. Furthermore, the practice of being present, or mindfulness, is one of the most effective ways to experience spirituality in everyday life. Mindfulness invites us to bring our attention to the present moment, rather than getting lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. When we practice mindfulness, any everyday activity becomes an opportunity for connection: eating, walking, talking, working. By being truly present, we become more aware of our actions, our emotions, and our connection to the world around us. Another practice that can enrich your spiritual journey is the practice of gratitude, which we mentioned before. Gratitude is not only a way of being grateful for the good things in our lives, but also a way of recognizing the beauty and perfection of the present moment. When we focus on what we have and who we are, rather than focusing on what is missing, we begin to notice the abundance that exists in every aspect of our lives. Self-care, as we have already discussed, is also an essential practice for spiritual awakening. Taking care of yourself is an act of love and respect for your essence. We often forget that rest and recovery are critical to our mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Self-care can be as simple as making sure you're getting enough sleep, eating healthily, getting physical activity, or just giving yourself permission to rest. Practicing prayers or affirmations can also be a way of connecting with your essence and the divine, whatever your spiritual vision. It doesn't have to be a formal prayer. It can be something simple and sincere, like expressing your gratitude for the day or asking for guidance. The power of words is immense, and when we use them with intention and presence, they become a channel for spiritual transformation. Don't forget that every small daily action contributes to your spiritual path. What is important is not the number of hours you dedicate to these practices, but the quality of your presence. Being truly present in each moment, in each breath, in each act, is what makes the path of spiritual awakening so profound and transformative. Now, I would like you to reflect on your own spiritual practice. What activities do you already do that help strengthen your connection with your essence? How can you incorporate more moments of meditation, gratitude, presence, and self-care into your daily routine? There is no right or wrong way, but what matters is that you create a space to reconnect with what is truest and deepest within you. Spirituality doesn't have to be something separate from your daily life. On the contrary, it can become the foundation for everything you do. By cultivating a daily spiritual practice, you create a solid foundation for your awakening, allowing your essence to shine brighter and brighter. Remember that spiritual awakening is an ongoing process, and each step, no matter how small, is an advancement towards your true nature. Now that we've gone through the various stages of spiritual awakening, such as overcoming internal challenges, cultivating a daily practice, and dealing with moments of doubt, it's time to talk about a fundamental aspect of this journey: integrating spiritual awakening into our everyday lives. True awakening is not something that occurs in specific moments of meditation or deep reflection, but rather in every action, thought, and interaction we have in our daily lives. Spirituality is not something separate from our everyday lives. It must be lived in each moment, in the way we relate to others, how we face challenges, and how we connect with the world around us. True spiritual practice is that which manifests itself in the simplicity of everyday life. It is expressed in the way we take care of ourselves, how we relate to others, how we deal with difficulties, and how we find peace in the midst of chaos. The first key to integrating spiritual awakening into everyday life is to cultivate presence. Often we are so immersed in our thoughts about the past or worries about the future that we forget to be fully present in the current moment. Spiritual awakening invites us to be aware of the now, to perceive the beauty and fullness of each moment. This means being aware of what is happening around us and within us, without distractions or judgments. When we practice presence, we begin to notice what previously went unnoticed: the smile of a stranger, the sound of the wind in the trees, the feeling of our feet touching the ground. Everything becomes more vivid and meaningful. When we are present, life becomes richer and deeper, and it is in this depth that we find our true essence. Another important aspect of integrating spiritual awakening into everyday life is living authentically. Spiritual awakening challenges us to be true to ourselves, to live according to our deepest values, and to express who we truly are without fear of judgment from others. This can be challenging, especially in a world that often values appearances and external expectations. However, being authentic is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. When we live authentically, we feel more aligned with our essence and the flow of life. Authenticity also invites us to accept our imperfections. Spiritual awakening is not about achieving perfection, but about learning to accept and love ourselves as we are, with all our flaws and qualities. By freeing ourselves from expectations and the pressure to be perfect, we become lighter and more connected with our true nature. Practicing forgiveness is another way to integrate spiritual awakening into our daily lives. Forgiveness is an act of liberation, both for others and for ourselves. When we carry hurt or resentment, we are trapped in a cycle of suffering. Forgiveness does not mean accepting what hurt us, but rather releasing the emotional weight it causes in our lives. Forgiveness allows us to heal and move forward without carrying the weight of the past. When we let go of resentment, we create space for love and peace. Furthermore, spirituality in everyday life is also reflected in the way we relate to others. Every interaction with another person is an opportunity to practice compassion, patience, and kindness. Sometimes we may see others as sources of stress or frustration, but spiritual awakening invites us to look at others with more understanding and love. When we are more connected to our own essence, it is easier to see the essence of others and act with compassion. Remember that spiritual awakening is not a fixed state, but an ongoing process. It unfolds throughout life, and each moment is an opportunity to deepen the connection with our true essence. There is no rush on the spiritual path. He is like a river that flows smoothly, never rushing, but always moving forward. The important thing is not to reach a final destination, but to live the journey with presence, authenticity, and compassion. Now, to conclude, I would like to invite you to reflect on how you can integrate spiritual awakening into your daily life. How can you live with more presence in your daily interactions? What are the small changes you can make to your routine to be more aligned with your true essence? Spiritual awakening is not something separate from your everyday life, but something that weaves into everything you do. And finally, I want to thank you for being with me on this journey of reflection and growth. Spiritual awakening is a unique and personal journey, but we are all connected in the search for our true essence. Continue to explore, learn, and grow. And if you wish, follow us in our next video where we will address an important topic: spiritual awakening, how to overcome internal challenges. Your journey has just begun, and it is full of potential, beauty, and infinite possibilities.